Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory,
I'm Victoria.
and we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values.
Happy weekend. Man, this week went by fast.
It went by fast. I'm so tired, though.
Me too.
It's
Ugh.
working.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
working gal.
been another interesting week. It's like God says, hold my beer.
Yeah, every week, every week.
Yeah, so this week we had Joe Biden give his State of the Union address, which I think we're going to do for Tuesday's episode. We're going to bring Sebastian on and kind of debrief it and debrief the lies. Um, my favorite one though, I will give a sneak peek. My favorite one is how he takes credit for Operation Warp Speed with the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, and he's been doing that since I think before he was even in
Yeah.
office, he started taking credit for it.
Yeah. I'm like,
And
oh,
yeah,
honey. Oh, honey.
it was 100% a Trump administration
Yeah.
operation.
Like, it's like, President Biden, wasn't the vaccine done before like you came into
Right.
office? Like, it was getting rolled
Right.
out before you even came into the office.
I saw, and I want to say it was like maybe Inside Edition, even like one of those like it's not really news, it's just more of like, ooh, let me tell you what happened. That they said that they even fact checked him a while ago. He said that he would have it out by May, and Trump said it would be out by April, and it was out, or like they'll get to a specific number by May, and Trump said it'll be get to the specific number by April, and it got there in April. But then Joe Biden said that he said it was April, and they went back and was like, well, actually, and Inside
Yeah.
Edition, all that stuff is liberal. So even they're like,
Yeah.
okay, sir,
Well, I
you're
love,
lying.
yeah, I love how, like, I mean, if we go back to like even the presidential debates, Trump was like, "We'll have the vaccine done by the end of the year," and Biden's like, "That's BS," and
Yeah, stuff
now
like that.
Biden's taking credit for it.
Yeah.
The other
Interesting.
thing I thought was interesting, we are recording this Friday night, so today, Friday, the Biden administration made an announcement that they're banning travel from India. Did you see that? Because of
I
the
did
whole
not
Indian
see
variant,
that.
which is ironic because it's like almost a year today of when Biden called Trump a racist for banning travel from China when COVID first
Wow, they're
started.
banning travel from India.
Mm-hmm.
Bum,
It
bum,
oh god,
bum.
it's so bad there.
That's
Um,
sad. There's so
we
many people. I mean,
yeah.
that's part of the problem. Like, it spreads through huge concentrations of
Mm-hmm.
people, and there's so many people in that small area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
And we have a friend who's Indian and like family and parents still live there. And I asked him if how they were doing, and he's like, they're fine right now. They have their vaccine, but this new variant is actually targeting like younger people. It's not targeting the elderly. It's targeting like 20, 30 somethings, healthy people. And he goes like this new variant literally like attacks the lungs. And so
Yikes.
that's why they're wanting like a
Ban the
oxygen,
travel.
all of
Yeah.
that. But it's just it's crazy.
I know. I can't believe this is wild.
Yeah, I never thought like, do you ever think in your lifetime you'd be living in a pandemic?
I didn't even really know what a pandemic was. If
Like,
I'm like when I think it, like I had no concept of the entire world shutting down.
yeah,
I had a concept. I don't even think I had a concept of like my state shutting down.
yeah. It's just like I don't know. I feel like I mean with the Spanish influenza, it's just like a glimpse in our history class, you know?
Yeah.
And it felt
I don't even
like
remember learning it, to be honest.
yeah, I just remember it from Twilight, to be honest.
Was he alive during that?
So that's what Edward got was on his dying bed when Carlisle made him into a vampire because of the
Interesting.
Spanish influenza. But I think, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I feel like it lasted like a couple months to a year, you know? Like there was, I felt like
Yeah.
And it might have been different for the people there, but I felt like there was like an end in sight, and
Yeah, and this is going
like
on
with these
far too
new
long.
variant, yeah, like with these new variants, is there really an end in sight for us? And that's what's scary. And I guess is like, I guess now I know how people feel with like the Black Plague and all that.
Yeah. Well, I
And
guess in my head, I'm guessing it's going to be like the flu. How every year people have to get the flu shot because the flu is popular, doing blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And there's different variants of the flu. I think I don't want to say like ignorance is bliss, but I do think like when you start thinking about it too much, it doesn't really help. I think it's going to be a part of life, which
Mm-hmm.
sucks because it hurts people really badly.
Yeah.
But I do think the fact that it's going to be part of life is also going to help doctors figure out other ways that aren't just
And
the
how to fix it
vaccine.
quicker, like with the flu.
Exactly.
That's a
They're going
good
to
point.
figure
That's a
out
good way to
other
look at it.
ways. Yeah. So as long as you are at least doing your best to be as healthy as possible, I think that, and that can kind of segue a little bit until like what we've both been talking about. We changed our we changed our Instagram to be a little bit more like healthy instead of just like weight loss, but we can do a whole episode on that. Oh, we should actually.
We
But
should.
anyway, um
We
but
should
like yeah,
rebrand.
yeah, yeah, we can even change some other stuff up. But yeah, so my whole point being, we lost my train of thought. Oh, as long as you're just being healthy and like you're doing the things, that's all you can really do. Cause like
Yeah.
I just feel like it just gets whoever, and that sounds awful. I don't know how else to say it. Cause like I know my hairdresser was saying how her husband had it and she didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. That
Her
was
husband.
I
And
was
she
listening.
sleeps with him.
Yeah, that's what Trisha Yearwood, who's married to Garth Brooks, was saying. Like she got it, he took care of her and was like around her and never got it.
Yeah, some people just aren't. Like it just gets who it gets when it wants. And I hate that. That sounds awful. So I just feel like you just can't worry too much about it.
Yeah, and I will say too. Oh God, where is it? There's like here it is. Um, there's certain supplements that they actually recommend that will help kind of not fight COVID, but kind of improves your immune system. So
I bet
it's
elderberry is one.
maybe I don't think so. Not because I know
Oh,
it's like zinc, vitamin C,
vitamin
melatonin, and
D,
vitamin
maybe.
D3.
Yeah.
That was it.
My mom had it, especially at the very beginning. She had us all drinking elderberry. She heard it on some sort of something or another,
I
and
think.
elderberry.
I
I
mean,
don't know if that's even I just okay.
I know what you're talking about. I actually think I use that to help with like my hormone balance. Is elderberry. Elderberry.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that. I'm double checking, looking at my Amazon orders. Apparently, my dad is shopping for shorts on Amazon right now.
Oh, you guys have
we
a
all
sharing
share an
account?
account.
Nice.
And I'm like,
Is
I'm
it's
look,
Prime? It's Prime.
yeah.
My brother and I share an account, I guess technically.
Yeah.
And our Prime Video, like our algorithm is so different. I'm so glad we figured out how to split it up because I don't know half the stuff he watches or half the stuff I watch he definitely would not watch. But I watch a
Really?
lot of the stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. No, we all I'm still on like my parents' accounts, like me and my parents, my little sister. Sebastian's not on it for some reason. By text Barry.
For some reason.
Well, I pretty much order all our Amazon stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So
The keeper of
Vitex
the home.
Berry is what I use
Vitex
to
Berry.
balance
Oh.
my hormones to
Okay.
kind of help with that. So traditionally for maintaining a healthy hormone balance and keeping your cycle regular, helps maintain healthy progesterone levels. Because I know that was a little when I had my hormones checked. I know my
Yeah.
progesterone was
Now, how did you get your
funky.
hormones checked?
I
Was
just
it
went to
your
the
doctor?
doctor and asked. They did blood work
Okay.
to say,
Maybe
hey,
I'll
I
do
think
that.
because well, I went to more of a
Like naturopath.
yeah an
Okay.
integrative. I went to an integrative health doctor, so he does like prescribe like antibiotics and prescriptions, all that, but he also because he's the one that caught my Lyme's disease in college. No one could catch it, and he caught it.
Oh, I didn't even know you
And
had Lyme
so
disease.
mhm. So his philosophy is, okay, I'm going to give you this antibiotic, but you need to also take this supplements to balance out what the antibiotics do in your body.
Oh, that's good.
And so he's actually big anti birth control too. And
Good.
so I went in gaining like 40 pounds, and I'm like, Dr. Linton, like something's wrong. Like I've gained 40 pounds on birth control. Like I want to get off of it. I think you need to check my hormones, because I heard Lauren Bostic from the Skinny Confidential talk about how she struggled losing weight after she had her baby. And it's because her hormones were off and her thyroid was off. And so he checked both of mine, and my family has like a history of thyroid issues. So my thyroid's fine, but my hormones were all over the place. And
I
he
wonder
was
if that's me because I get my thyroid checks so much,
So have
and
you ever?
everybody's
So
like,
you
"You're
never
fine,
checked
you're
your
fine."
hormones?
No, not that I know
See,
of. I
they
don't think
said
so.
I think Lauren said she checks her hormones at least every 6 months now. 6 months
And you
to a
just
year.
find a doctor that'll check your hormones.
Yeah, and most of them will. I think you need to look at, and maybe because I know we talked about like the In the Flow book. Like I brought it up here, and like you actually
Yeah,
heard a
yeah.
podcast with her on.
After we get off, I'm going to buy the book. Everybody, we're going to talk about this book eventually.
Yeah.
Continue.
And I think like she talks about too, like what there's like certain things they need to check when they check for hormones. And I know Lauren
Oh,
had someone on the Skinny Confidential podcast talking about hormones that I think it was her doctor. And he's like, this is what you need to ask your doctor to check for.
okay. Yeah.
So, and I don't know, because I don't know if you need to go to your OBGYN
I feel
or
like you probably have to go to a specialty doctor.
yeah, there's a podcast she has. So I know for me, I trust this doctor. He's not there to my doctor is very much, we're gonna figure out the solution to the problem, not just put a band-aid on.
Yeah, and that's what we need. And on Making On with Mal, I had my friend on, and she has diabetes. She's had diabetes since she was a kid. And then she also does not have anymore, but she had like hypertension, hyper this, blah, 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 da, 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 da. She's taking all these medications. And then she just went ahead and was like, okay, why am I doing all this stuff? And she did her own research. She started doing supplements, and all she has now is diabetes, which she's had forever. So she's probably never going to get rid of that. But like,
yeah, it's like a type 2 is like what you have when you're a kid.
Yeah, I think she got it like when she was a baby. Like, so she's had it like that. She's not, but everything else that she's gotten over the past couple of years, all she did was like eat healthy or be healthier, get rid of some of the toxin stuff. And like, I think she did stuff with her hormones. Like, she did all this stuff. And like, she said she talked to her and she had to be her own advocate, which I want to talk about that because she's in another episode. We can have someone talk about that, but she said something like her doctor was saying, oh, you should do this and that. She's like, no, this doesn't feel right. I want to do this. And then turns out she was right. Yeah. And it's like, you really have to be able to fight. You have to know. So that's why before I say anything to my doctor or a doctor, I want to get that book because I want to go in knowing like, I need you to check for this because we need to get on top of this. And now that I think about it too, I'm pretty sure it has to do with my hormones because I mean, I remember when I was like 8, I had to go to like a special doctor because I was gaining weight so fast, and they had to like see, like I had an ultrasound and everything, I had to see like what was going on. And I feel like that's around the time like puberty because I started my period at 10. I don't know if that's TMI, y'all.
Really? That's
I
so young.
Yeah.
I started mine at 13 on my birthday.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I started mine. I was at ballet. Like, I went to the bathroom. I had on my leotard and everything. I went to the bathroom, and I was like, and thank God I read that All About Me book because I would have probably been freaking out. And I was like, and then I like came out and told my mom, and I was super excited. Little did I know.
Well, okay, for mine, and this is definitely TMI.
So much.
It wasn't bloody. It was like brown. And I'm like, oh my, and we were at the zoo on a field trip. I go, oh my God, did I just poop in my pants? Like, I was like, what is going on here?
Did you know about periods before?
Yeah, well, it wasn't red, it wasn't bloody.
Yeah, okay, so you just didn't know it was a period.
Yeah, and my mom asked our friend who's OBGYN, she goes, yeah, sometimes this just happens with like short women. So like my
Short
first,
women.
yeah. So my first couple ones were not like
Bloody.
traditional period.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, wow. Well, I wonder, anyway, all that to say, hormones are important, y'all.
Yeah. Well, and I will say too, like for me, like my birth control made my body think it was in menopause.
Yeah.
And so it was producing like some sort of, oh God, what was it called? I think it was estrogen that it was overproducing and causing me to have increase my fat cells because it thought I was in menopause.
Well, I
Because
mean,
I wasn't ovulating. Birth
in the
control doesn't like, yeah, you bleed once a month, but it's not a true ovulation.
yeah, that's what the lady in the podcast was saying and through the book. And guys, something happened to me yesterday. I heard like maybe 3 or 4 biohacking podcasts, and now I'm obsessed. So the lady, that's what she was saying in the podcast. She was saying when you're on birth control, your body is not ovulating. Like it's
Yeah.
not ovulating.
Which
It
is
doesn't,
crazy.
and you're bleeding. She said it's not an actual period. It's
Yeah.
not. Oh, she said it's not menstruation. It's not menstruation. You're just bleeding.
I think it's just like, what is it? It's like you're not releasing an egg at all.
Yeah.
I think it's just shedding the lining, but like you're not
Yeah.
releasing an egg at all like you're supposed to. And so it really like throws your body off completely.
Yeah. And like, there's so many reasons people are on birth control,
Yeah.
but one thing that she said, and I'm really glad, which is why I also would love to have her on the podcast. She made 2 comments where I was like, she might, if she doesn't do a bunch of research on us, she might come on. She made 2 comments. But one thing I liked what she said was like, there's tons of reason to be on birth control, whatever. But like for like PCO, because I know I have friends that are on birth control for PCOS, for acne, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many.
That's why I originally got on
alternatives
was for acne.
Yeah, there's so many other healthier alternatives that are not going to, because you're literally stopping what your body was designed to do. That's the thing that she said that made me think, okay, she might come on. When she made the comment, she was like, men and women are equal, but we are different. We have to recognize that our bodies are different. And I was like,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
wait a second. All right, miss. And then she made a comment about how like we talk about our period, which I noticed I said this and I do want to work on that. She was saying how we talk so negatively about our period, like it's supposed to hurt, it's supposed to be this terrible thing.
We're
and then
supposed
she
to have
said,
headaches, we're supposed to have cramps. She's like, that's not natural at
that's
all.
not natural. And she said, we think it's part of the original sin, part of the fall. And she said that, and I was like, oh, maybe you're a Christian too. But it's not supposed to be like that. Like,
yeah.
She said we should change the language around periods too.
Yeah.
And I want to work on that.
And because I have the book, I've like flipped through it. I haven't like done like a deep read on it yet. But there's like, because we have 4 cycles. Based on where you are in your cycle determines what you should be eating. Like there's different foods you should be eating like every week based on where you are in your cycle. There's different workouts. Like if you're I don't want to like, so for example, like if you are on your period, you should be resting that week. You should be let your body rest. You shouldn't do any like high intensity workouts. That week you just need to focus on yoga, do a walk, take a nap. But if you're I can't remember which stage. I want to say ovulation, but don't quote me on that. But if you're in ovulation, that's when you do high intensity workout and like how
review the book,
and how you need to biohack your life around your period. Like, and I've noticed this too. Like, there's certain times of the month, and I like notice like every month is like I am more focused.
Yeah,
I have more energy, and then other times of the month I'm like drained. Like I think I'm drained because I'm about to start my period on Monday,
and oh, that's crazy. I think I'm gonna be done by Monday. I think so. Well, I'm gonna be done. Let me see. Well, I guess I don't.
But yeah, but I love her app. It's called it's called Flow. I think My Flow, is that what it is?
I think it's In the Flow because
the book's called In the Flow.
Okay, there is a Flow app.
Yeah, the app's called My Flow.
Yeah,
and it lets you know like where you are in your cycle too. So like it lets you know which period in your cycle you're in. And what I love about it is like I love how it breaks down the cycles because like I want to track like my ovulation. So like in the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church is against birth control, and one of like our marriage classes was understanding how to have planned pregnancies
Yeah.
without using birth
NFP.
control. And it's
Mm-hmm.
tracking the cycles. And
Yeah.
so it's tracking where I am on my cycle. And so instead of me doing like my math, I just log in with the app and it shows where I am in the cycle and like just where I am ovulating, especially like because it shows like, okay, this is like the main day, but this is also the period of ovulation. So you might just want to avoid sex these like 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating because we don't know this. And I think, to tie it into our conservatism, I think this is the perfect example of how we recognize and celebrate how men and women are different.
Yep.
And I think this is also a way to, if we learn more and understood our bodies, I think we would be able to not fight off men. That's not what I'm trying to say.
That's
We
what she
would
was saying.
hold ourselves more accountable, I
Yeah, and
think.
that's what she was saying in the book is what made her interested in all this is that she like found it so like she found like puberty and like women and men like so interesting, but then when they got to like the sex part of biology, they kind of did the details for the men and glanced over the women's stuff. And she's like, well,
Yeah.
I just want to learn more about it. And they're like, there's nothing really more you can learn about.
And
But
I was just gonna say really quick, the thing I found the most fascinating was she said that all of the research done on these workouts on X, Y, and Z are not done on women who are in their, what is it called, reproductive stage?
Yeah, so all the diets, all the workouts, so like a keto diet is actually really harmful to women. And a keto diet, well, parts of the keto diet. So like what she's saying is like
a lot of things are catered for men and women in menopause. Like we know how it
because
affects...
they don't want to do any testing on women who are reproductive because they don't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is like that's okay. So one thing I'm trying not to like, it's very easy for me to be like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool thing. Let me like tack my life to this. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to be very selective. But when she said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah, no, that's how I was like, oh my God, my life's changed. So, okay. Yeah. So I know we need to get into stuff, but if you guys are interested in learning more about this, it's Alyssa Beatty. She was on Boss Babe podcast.
Yes.
And her book is called In the Flow. She also wrote the book Woman Code.
Yes. And I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to read the book and I'm going to try some of the stuff.
Well, do you remember I talked about her like January?
Well, that's why. So I heard the guy talking about acid, which we'll talk about that in another episode as well. And I was like, let me listen to the one because you had mentioned, and I remember saying I'm gonna listen to it. And I just never got to it. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and listen to the one Victoria was talking about. And then I was like, oh, this is good. And then I heard her on the Blonde Files. She was on the Blonde Files as well. Mm-hmm. And she kind of sort of said the same thing, but
yeah. She's also on another podcast, and I'm blanking which one it is. But no, she's so good. So I really want the Skinny Confidential to get her on. Yeah. Like I just want. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so, we need to get into it, but
it's gonna be a long episode. We've had a lot. God, this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
okay, first topic.
First topic is actually really sad and disturbing news. So
it's disturbing. Perfect. Definitely.
Yeah. Former reality TV star Joshua Duggar has been arrested on federal charges related to the possession of child pornography, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of Arkansas. Duggar allegedly downloaded material that depicted the sexual abuse of children under the age of 12, the U.S. Attorney's Office said in a statement. Ugh. Duggar allegedly possessed the material in May 2019. Duggar is the oldest son of Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar, whose family was the subject of the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting, faces 2 charges, the indictment shows. 1 count of receipt of child pornography and 1 count of possession of child pornography. He faces up to 20 years in prison and fines of up to 20 years in prison and fines of up to $250,000 if convicted, the statement said. Duggar was arrested in Arkansas Thursday. According to the statement, he appeared in federal court Friday via video conference and pleaded not guilty to both charges. We intend to defend this case aggressively and thoroughly in this country. No one can stop prosecutors from charging a crime, but when you're accused, you can fight back in the courtroom. That is exactly what Josh intends to do, Duggar's attorneys said in an email to CNN on Friday. I think it's also interesting because he was arrested for molesting like four of his sisters, but then they
So
dropped the charges. And
I don't
then
know.
he went to like a sex addiction thing. But you know what's really sad? Him and his wife announced their seventh child this week. That they're pregnant
Yeah.
with their seventh child.
So I don't know too much about them. I know there was a Law and Order episode that I'm pretty sure was a subtle nod to them. Um, and I know that they have a lot of kids and wear long dresses. And one of the girls had her first kiss at her wedding, but they
No,
stepped
all of them. None
outside.
of them. You're
Oh,
not allowed to kiss. I don't even know if you're allowed to touch like until like you're only supposed to kiss your like person you're gonna marry.
spouse. Good for them? Question mark. I don't know. That's not a lifestyle I could live, but
Okay, so they are part of the Baptist church. It's called Independent Baptist.
oh, they're independent Baptist.
That's what it's
Interesting.
called.
That's their denomination.
Yes. Is
Yeah,
independent. It's like a form of Baptist.
yeah. It's a very reformed, very stringent rule type Baptist. So okay, but anyway, I don't know too much about him. I know that in conservative, someone posted about it, and in his picture, he looked incredibly high. So I'm guessing he must have been expecting what was going to happen and just went for it. And then I know that. And also too, when we didn't know it was sexual abuse or anything like that until today.
Oh,
But
I had a
yesterday,
feeling.
well, that's what I was saying. Yesterday in conservatives, people were like, if it was federal, it was kids. Like it was
Yep,
some sort of
because it
sexual
crossed
something.
state lines.
Yeah.
Because I
And
think I was talking to someone that like, oh, I thought it was something to do with his used car a lot. And I was like, no, like this is bigger. I was like, no.
yeah. Yeah, that's disgusting. That's sad. My heart goes out to the wife too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
7 kids. She has 7 kids with this man. And my next thought would be, what if he, hurt one of my children?
Yeah.
And then, I'd have to kill him.
I don't
But
think, I mean, they definitely don't seem to believe in divorce. Okay, so I'll add on. So it's 19 kids and counting, and then they split off with a new show called Counting On. So on May 22nd, 2015, TLC suspended 19 Kids and Counting when the Duggars' eldest son, Josh, publicly apologized for having acted inexcusably following reports that he molested 5 girls, including some of his sisters, by fondling them.
some of his sisters, so
Yeah,
that's
so I don't think
multiple.
it's all of them. These events occurred in 2002 and 2003 when he was 14 and 15, prior to the beginning of the show. Um, so
Well, they
yeah.
should have gotten him help. I mean, first of all, my opinion, if you're that young and you're having those type of somethings or anothers, it doesn't necessarily mean you're this evil, crazy person. It means that you have some other stuff going on and your parents need to intervene. What the problem is, and Christians do this all the time, the problem is they probably just thought they could, okay, like I hate to say it because it sounds so callous. I don't mean it very callous, but they probably just thought they could just pray it away and everything's gonna be fine. You just pray for him. We give him grace and pray for him, and that's just not something is like there's something else going on. At 14, 15, I'm not gonna blame him. I'm gonna blame the parents at 14, 15. At how old is he now? Like 27, 28, 30? That's no.
No,
And
so he
also
was like 14, 15 in like 2002.
yeah. So he's in his 40s now. No, that's not. I said 40s, it could be 30s. I'm not math. But I mean, that's not okay. And I mean, images of child porn, that's oh gosh. My heart really goes out to his wife and their children, the victims. his family,
Yeah.
his parents, I mean, clearly. So I believe in grace. I really do. That's why I don't believe in the death. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe in the death penalty. I believe from womb to tomb. No judgment to those who do believe in the death penalty, but because I believe in grace. One thing that I think people like myself and those of us who are very big with grace, I think one thing we forget is grace is offered to people who are repentant. This is someone who has had multiple times committing a sin that he only fesses up when he's caught. People know your heart by your fruit. If you're continually doing something, that's not okay. That is not where grace is offered. And 20 years, up to 20 years in prison, I feel like that means he could be in jail for like 5. Like up to 20 sounds like he could be in there for like 5. I'm sure there's up to 20s, people are in there for like 2. That is crazy. But he'll be a registered sex offender, and hopefully he won't be around his children. His 7 children. Oh, that's awful.
Well, the 7th one, like his wife's pregnant with their 7th kid.
Yeah. That's just
I'm
so
curious
sad.
to see. Well, I thought was interesting is he's pleading not guilty.
That is interesting too, because I wonder if it's not guilty, like reason of mental defect, not guilty because of X, Y, and Z. It just says not guilty, but I'm curious because if they say, hey, this is all yours, how do you say, nah, I'm borrowing this computer? Like, how do you, I'm holding this computer for a friend.
This is my wife's laptop.
Right. I'm holding this for a friend.
You can't like that's prove that this was my purchasing. It just ended up on my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder, I guess, could he plead not guilty of like mental issues?
That's what I was thinking. He's probably going to plead not guilty because he has some sort of sex addiction, maybe. I feel like it's going to be a sex addiction, something or another.
Yeah, but I don't think that should give you any reason to have child pornography. That's what I don't understand.
Not.
Like, that's what I don't understand is how can he plead guilty for sex addiction?
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know. Well, are you, you know, Jana Kramer is?
No.
Okay. I was going to have another quick story. Well, she's country music star who her husband cheated on her.
Oh, I heard about that. They wrote a book or something.
They wrote and like she again. Like forgave him, and then like right after they released it, like he found out like he cheated again. It's just so sad. Like I love her. Like
that's so sad. Okay, I'm gonna say a hot take, and I wish I had like a button one day. Well, when I'm about to say like a hot take,
I have a thing. I just
keep forgetting to use it.
I have like a little we have like a road
soundboard.
Yeah, soundboard thing. I have a thing. Like a soundboard that we could use. I just don't know how to do it because we record on Zoom.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
I want to like have a sound whenever I'm gonna do. So I'm about to do hot take. You ready?
Okay.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
True.
I once again, I talk about grace. I want to offer people grace. I do, but I have never known a cheater that has not cheated again. Especially, this is going to sound terrible. I'm not a man hater. Especially men.
Yeah.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
Well, and I mean, her husband admitted to having a sex addiction. Sorry, her husband admitted to having a sex addiction too.
Thing. I feel bad. I feel like that's not a thing.
I feel like that's just not a thing. I feel anything like.
Okay, that's true. Because you can be addicted to porn.
Heck, I'm addicted to coffee.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I feel like I don't know.
No, I think it's a thing. Like you just crave that love, intimacy, that feeling you get.
I feel like you wouldn't be craving the intimacy. You'd be
not the intimacy, but like that
the release for a man, like that feeling.
Yep. I wasn't sure how to say that.
Yeah. Oh well, I said it for you.
Thank you.
This is a graphic episode, everyone. We've been talking about periods, child molestation.
We should probably put something up front.
Yeah, I'm like,
well, on the episode title, I'll be like, hey, this isn't really for kids.
explicit. Maybe
It's
I'll
not
put it
explicit.
as.
We haven't said anything bad.
That's true,
We
but
haven't
I
said
feel
a
like we
bad
talked
word,
about
but we're
like,
just talking about adult stuff that little kids don't need to be listening to just yet.
yeah,
Because our
adult
next story
topics.
is
Yeah,
sorry guys, it's just been a week. It's been really interesting stuff. I don't feel like it's
yeah.
that positive. Okay.
No.
5 people have been arrested and charged for the alleged involvement in the February shooting and robbery of Lady Gaga's dog walker, according to the
5
LA Police
people.
Department. 5. 3 of the
Okay.
suspects, ranging in age from 18 to 27, were arrested Tuesday on charges of attempted murder.
Oh my god.
The other 2 subjects, aged 40 and 50, were charged with accessory, to attempted murder. The LAPD said 4 of the 5 suspects are documented gang members. Ryan Fisher, a close friend of the pop star who was walking her dogs, was shot during a violent altercation on February 24th that ended with 2 of Lady Gaga's 3 prized French bulldogs stolen and Fisher seriously wounded. Surveillance footage later showed the brazen incident, which Fisher described as a close call with death. Detectives do not believe the suspects were targeting the victim because of the dog's owner. However, evidence suggests the suspect knew the great value of the breed of dogs and was the motivation for the robbery, an LAPD news release stated. One of the suspects taken into custody is the woman who found the dogs a few days following the shooting after Lady Gaga offered a $500,000 reward for the safe return of her pets. Once the dogs were turned in, detectives connected the woman who, quote unquote, found them to the father of one of the attempted murder suspects, police said.
Wow. Okay, that was a movie. What just happened? What you just
God, I
heard
hope
was a
they make. I
movie.
mean, I don't hope they make. I don't know. That would totally
It's
be a
okay.
movie.
Lifetime probably would.
Lifetime would, yeah, Lifetime Hallmark definitely make a movie out of it.
Yeah. Okay, so at first, when I said they were kids, like 18 and 24, so that's basically kids.
Dude,
When they
that's
said,
younger than us.
yeah. When
Like,
they said that, it reminded me of, remember the bling ring? Those kids that were going and breaking into like Lindsay Lohan's house, Paris Hilton's house.
Yeah.
And that's what that reminded me of at first. And I wonder if that's like the gang that they made. It's hard for me to believe that it was like a gang. I feel like it was more of like a gang. You know what I mean? Like quote unquote gang.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to believe it was like a real shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I wonder, like, can you imagine, like, because you know how they have like initiations where you have to do certain things to get into a game. Can you imagine? Yeah, you need to go steal 2 French bulldogs in order to get into our gang.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it wasn't.
We're the Pound Puppies gang. You have to get
Yeah.
2 French bulldogs in order to get in.
Yeah, no, I don't. It wasn't a gang, but that's very fascinating and kind of funny that the person who quote unquote found them.
Yes, every podcast I listen to, they go, "This is sus." This woman who quote unquote found them, yeah, she's involved. Every podcast, I was like, I agree. Like, there's like.
Yeah,
$500,000. Like,
Oh yeah, if 500,000. I know. You know what? Let's go ahead and get these things back. Like,
my son has it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember when that happened. I remember, and it was on like the news too.
Yeah, it was crazy. Every podcast is talking about it.
Yeah, my dad was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Well, he's not the famous one."
She may or may not have been like a Super Bowl singer.
Yeah. You probably you don't know him. You don't know her, Daddy. You don't know her. That's just, I can't believe that the person who found it. That's hilarious. That's a movie. That right there is a movie. But you know what's not a movie? What the abortion industry is doing to us. Unfortunately, that's real life. This month's April, well, I guess it'd be May, up until May 15th, I believe, we are raising money for Lily North's billboard that is going to be in San Diego. And it's going to say, "We don't need abortion to succeed." She's almost at her goal. Like, the very first time we talked about this. I mean, I think she had like, she didn't even have $1,000. I'm pretty sure, I can look right now. I'm pretty sure she's like at 4,000 and some change, which is amazing. Because this is, I mean, the idea, we did a podcast episode on it. You should definitely find the episode and listen to it. But the idea is there's going to be so many people who are going to see this, and billboards are like the way to get the message across now, because everybody's driving, everybody's going from point A to point B, and you have the time to see it. Let's see. Okay, wow. All right, so the goal was 4,000 initially. She's at 4,000 now, and
awesome.
she raised it, I think, by $100, which is fine. That's great.
I think those campaigns usually like automatically raise, like GoFundMe like automatically adds on more once you get to the goal.
Okay, well that's what happened, which is amazing. And so that doesn't mean we don't do
support. She could do another billboard.
Exactly, still support.
She put it up longer.
Also too, this gives, so you know, she's doing this through her Students for Life fellowship. This gives Students for Life the idea of like, okay, wait, there seems to be people that will help fund this, so maybe we will do other ones in other cities. I mean, Charlotte needs one, don't get me started. We have the biggest abortion clinic in the Southeast in Charlotte.
Really?
Yes, it is the biggest abortion clinic in the Southeast, is in Charlotte. So this is amazing. So you guys head on over to our website, and you can donate to the anti-abortion billboard.
Yes.
That's that.
All right. So our next story is New York loses House seat after coming up 89 people short on census. New York's congressional delegation will shrink by 1 seat after the 2022 election, the Census Bureau announced on Monday, but the state came excruciatingly close to snapping an 8-decade streak of declining representation in Washington. It was 89 residents short, to be precise. Texas will gain 2 more congressional seats, and 7 states will each lose a seat as a result of population shifts recorded in the 2020 census, the Census Bureau said Monday in the release of its first round of data from the survey taken last year. In total, 7 seats shifted, affecting 13 states. Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon each gained 1 seat in addition to Texas, gaining 2, I believe. Is that right? Texas gained 2. California, Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia each lost 1 seat. The shift could affect the 2022 midterm elections and whether Democrats can hold on to control of the House, where they will hold a narrow majority. It's also part of the broader shift to the South and West of the U.S., with 84 seats shifting toward those states since 1940.
Lots of thoughts. First thought, all 89 of those residents have moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. You cannot go anywhere in Charlotte without meeting someone that goes, I'm from New York.
Then why are you in Charlotte?
Yeah, like no shade, I guess. I don't know.
If you're so proud of being from New York,
I mean,
go back.
People from New York are so proud. And I saw this meme the other day, which is the truth. Someone will be like, I'm from New York, and they'll be like 20 something. And the last time they were in New York, lived in New York, was when they were like 4. And it's like, okay, like you're not from I will say that, okay, talk about pet peeves. I can't stand people go, oh, I'm from so-and-so. Oh, how old were you when you moved? 4. You're not from that place. You're not. I'm sorry. You're just not. Like, I don't know why. That just bothers me to no end. Like, when you say you're from someplace and you live there all the way, I'll give you up till 6. If you moved after 6.
I feel like...
No. If you moved after 6, you're not from there.
But see, for me, I feel like you need to have at least gone through a couple of years of school in that place to be from there.
So you would think if you moved after like 10.
Yeah, I would think so.
That's fine too. I don't mind pushing it back.
The majority, okay, let's look at it this way. Where you get the majority of your education is where you are from.
See, I don't mind pushing it back. I don't know why that just irks me. People, I'm from so-and-so.
Or some people who are like, I'm from Chicago, but live like 2 hours outside of Chicago.
Oh my gosh, yes. So people do that. So, okay, so Charlotte is obviously, for those listening, Charlotte obviously is the big major city in North Carolina, right? So there's tiny cities like Waxhaw, Weddington, Gastonia, Matthews. I don't know why it bothers me so much when people from like Gastonia say they're from Charlotte. Like, no, you're not. You're not.
Okay, I
If
will
you're
say
from Gastonia.
I think it
No,
makes sense. Like you go like, oh, I'm from Gastonia. It's right outside of Charlotte. That's how I would say it.
you're not from Charlotte. You're
Yeah.
from Gastonia.
Yep.
I can't say that either. But
Well,
anyway, so yeah,
I just hope that the seat in New York loses his AOCs, but I doubt that will be. They'll probably take away Republican seats.
Yeah, I think that it also is a good indication of people are tired. People even, and here's the thing.
Well, people are tired of liberal ideals. They'll move away from liberal ideals and still vote for that liberal ideals where they move. Stop voting for the ideas that you moved away from.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say.
That's my big pet peeve.
Oh, well, I mean, that's literally what happens. People, this is very blatant. People are tired of the things that are happening in their states for so many reasons. People who are liberal, I mean, celebrities even, who aren't even like conservative are like, okay, I'm tired of California.
I'm tired of California shutting down. I'm tired of their high prices.
Yeah,
you know why they have high prices? It's because of high taxes.
Yeah.
You know why they have high taxes? It's because you keep voting for a Democrat governor, Democrat legislation.
And okay, here is one thing I'm going to say to that. Those of us listening, this is where we stand up and we speak up for our cities. Everybody that's involved with your GOP, this is when you talk to them and say, okay, we have all these new people. We have to show them why voting our way in our state is what's going to help them. And that's when we are doing, you do the education, you reach out to people, this is when we do our part, because these states, Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, Oregon, Texas, they're going to become liberal states if people from liberal states continue to vote for liberal policies. Yep. The only way they will stop is if they know, if we show them. Because that's the other thing too, like, and I am reminded of this because my best friend here is apolitical in the sense of like, she just doesn't like.
I don't see how people cannot care about politics. And I know this is like me saying it, who's like uber into politics, but I just don't see like, this is your livelihood. These people are making decisions on your life, how you live your life, how you pay for things. Like, how can you not be interested in what's going on in your local politics?
So I don't necessarily disagree because I cannot relate to that at all. But I think it is a very blissful life. And I'm reminded. Nice.
I will say I used to not care about politics in college. And it was nice. I was like, I mean, the first time I voted was in 2016 for President Trump. And we did watch the presidential numbers come in, but I didn't give two craps about what happened in North Carolina. Yeah. Like, I didn't care what happened in North Carolina. I didn't care about the legislature. Like, and honestly, I didn't even know midterms were a thing.
Most people don't. And all this to say, though, like, from hanging out with her and like having conversations with her, there are people who just don't know, like who just don't know that, like, hey, the reason why our taxes are low is because of X, Y, and Z. So it's our job to educate. My friend calls them the normies. It's as the unusuals. It's our jobs to educate the normies. It's our jobs to tell. Now that doesn't mean go knock on everybody's door, beating them down, vote Republican or die. Don't do that. That's excessive. But you meet someone new, talk about it. Probably the best way to show that our Republican idea, that our conservative values are the best, is through your life, through living your life, through having these conversations. And once again, remembering like this is, and I am really glad I do have friends that are apolitical, because I feel like it helps me to know how to talk to people, specifically like on the internet, that are apolitical, because they just don't know, and they don't know because they aren't being told. And if someone is telling them, then they'll know. Yeah. And we have to do that.
Well, if you like the low cost of living, think a Republican.
Yeah. And it's in Charlotte, it's going up, but that's a whole nother. Well, our city council's a mess, but continue.
Yeah. Well, our final story is a little at home news for me in Guilford County. I know it's a local news story for me, But I thought the whole concept was really interesting that I want to discuss with you. So bear with me, it's a little long.
Okay.
A proposed policy on technology used by the Guilford County Board of Education may require its members to explicitly state their social media posts reflect only their personal views and not those on the board. Proposed policy code 2127 is entitled Board Member Technology Use. An April 13th media release states that the policy directs board members to use distinct technology in a manner that is ethical, respectful, and supportive of the board's duty to provide students with the opportunity to receive a sound basic education. In subsection 3A of section C of the policy code titled Board Member Use of Personal Social Media, the policy states, when presenting information on personal social media, board members should clearly indicate that the information posted reflects the views of the individual board member and is neither endorsed by the board nor necessarily reflected of the views of the board or of an official board policy. No one has acknowledged that the policy was drafted in response to two posts by District 2 Representative Anita Sharp, who is one of 3 Republicans on our 8-member school board. However, it appears aimed at curbing the kind of social media activity that inspired Sharp's critics to call for resignation. On January 10th, Sharp publicly shared a video by retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Thomas McClerney, in which McClerney falsely claimed that U.S. Special Forces had infiltrated the Antifa mob storming the Capitol and seized Nancy Pelosi's laptop. McClerney alleged that the laptop contained potentially damaging information about Pelosi, which is why the House Speaker was pushing for the president's impeachment. Sharp's post, which Facebook removed for containing false information, caused an uproar in the county and for many to call for a resignation or removal. On March 14th, Sharp created a Facebook fundraiser for the Pregnancy Network located on Fulton Street in Greensboro, which reflects itself as a 501c3 nonprofit Christian organization. According to Greensboro City Council members Tammy Thurm and Michelle Kennedy, staff and volunteers from the Pregnancy Network have packed the organization's ultrasound van, have parked the organization's ultrasound van outside of a Woman's Choice of Greensboro and take part in anti-abortion demonstrations there. Thurm and Kennedy have also described demonstrators obstructing patients' cars and bullying women seeking the clinic's services.
Oh, did you bring us all Chick-fil-A?
Sorry, Sebastian just walked in with my Chick-fil-A that took forever.
Did you bring us all Chick-fil-A, Sebastian?
Only my
Is mine in the mail?
No.
Wait, what'd you say?
He said only my best friend.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Or whatever, as the kids say.
Oh no, we're still recording. We're almost done.
Yeah. And this is our chill episode, so it's fine.
It's our weekly recap.
Yeah.
We were talking about the whole Anita Sharp thing and how where did you pass us? Huh? We're talking about the whole Anita Sharp issue.
What?
We're talking about
No, I get that.
Okay.
I was like, dang, Sebastian, get you. She said it 3 times.
Ketchup from the fridge.
So you're not gonna use anything for your chicken strips?
I'm gonna use the ketchup that's in the fridge from Whataburger. We've been through this.
That was for your
Then I knew that, Sebastian.
I can do ketchup on my fries too. You used to do ketchup on your fries.
No. Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay. Thoughts?
Okay, so thoughts. Lots of thoughts. I do like the idea of making sure or of saying that your ideas and views don't reflect the board, because I do think that's good and important.
I don't
and I think
see why anyone would think that. Like, the thing is,
well,
she posted it. Hold on. She posted it on her personal Facebook, not her Anita Sharp School Board Facebook.
Well, the reason why is because if you associate with anybody, people are going to think that the organization endorses what you do.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, it'd be nice to hire a summer intern for those other girls. I would not personally, no judgment to those that do, I would not want those other girl interns to be posting naked pictures on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
because
That
that
isn't
people would
representing
think
their
we
values.
endorse that, and that's not. So that's why I think I don't have a problem with the boards doing that, as long as they're also like they're doing that. So then no matter what you do, they can't get mad at you. Now, obviously, if you murder someone, okay.
I think it's like a legal
that
legal
too.
thing.
Well, I don't necessarily know if it's legal because, with both of our jobs, though, that's kind of sort of the deal
Yeah.
with us too. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think my thing is that it had to be implemented by someone who's conservative, and that
Mhm.
the things that they said are or the things that they support are conservative. That is a red flag, or like a to me, because it just has me thinking like,
Well, I will say the superintendent is a whack job. And
the one that the Anita.
no, Anita, no, that's the school board member. Our superintendent is a whack job. And she asks for money and it doesn't say like where it goes.
Oh, so just be
for
like,
example,
yo, I need $10.
Yeah. So for example, we had Jill, I think it was Jill Biden came and spoke in Greensboro, and they had sorry, they used school buses, like Guilford County school buses, as kind of like barriers, and put Joe Biden, Kamala Harris signs on the school buses without telling anyone that they were going to do that. And parents and school members, like, I don't think like the school board didn't even know, is my understanding. Like, she will literally host meetings, like tell them like, hey, like we're having an emergency meeting at 3 in the afternoon when you're supposed to be working.
Yeah,
and like she's nuts.
Yeah, and and I guess that's protecting the people that hired her, the people that are with her too. Like, hey, this crazy school board lady is not her craziness is not associated with us.
She spent, I think, $200 to $300 on a consultant on racial issues in our county. Like and this was pre George Floyd that she did this.
That's the other thing too. Like,
and the consultant, and I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the consultant's like her friends.
Yeah, that's a nice little gig people have to be consulted on race issues.
Mm-hmm. But I will say there was a school board member that disagreed with her, so she got her sorority sister to primary him and beat him. Yeah.
Are they out? As your school board is not what you call it?
Very blue.
Unaffiliated, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they are.
Okay. So that's why Republicans struggle winning.
Oh, yeah. I think ours are not. I'm pretty sure ours are not.
Yeah.
Our city council I know our city council is.
Our city council is not. Our city council is nonpartisan, which I find that interesting, but our school board is partisan. That I don't get.
Yeah, that is it definitely should be the opposite. That's fascinating.
What are your thoughts though that they're targeting her because she posted a fundraiser for the pregnancy resource or pregnancy network?
That is not surprising. Like, I think it's going to get, to be honest, not to like doom and gloom everybody, but I think it's going to get worse. How they're going to attack pro-lifers, because there's a lot of pro-life legislation that's going to be going up the pipeline. And so many people are waking up and realizing like, okay, like more people are becoming more educated on it. And they're realizing like, all right, this is a lot more serious than I thought. So I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to, like if both of us work for people who probably would agree with what we are saying in this, but let's say we didn't, we would, for the stuff we say, we have episodes with the S dedicated to this topic, we could lose our jobs, like, which actually would be fine because maybe we can be on Fox News or something. Oh, okay.
Well, I don't want to lose my job.
Well, no. I don't want you to lose your job. I don't want to lose my job either, but I'm just saying, like, we could supplemental money. Anyway, but that's beside the point. My whole point is, I think it's going to get worse. And, like, I'm not surprised that they did it because of something. What I do find interesting from pro aborts, as my friend calls them, is, like, how is raising money to help people, like, I just never understood why they wouldn't, like, pregnancy resource centers. You would think they would be at all pregnancy resource centers, because that is, if you care about people, they're literally helping people. Like, that is their sole purpose, to help people. You know, like, I that's fascinating, interesting to me.
Yep, I agree. Also, to add on to this, didn't it come out this week that it was proven that Planned Parenthood's founder did it because she was racist?
Yes, the people at Planned Parenthood admitted. I think it was last week though. But yeah, the people at Planned Parenthood admitted that she was racist. It was like, she was racist, but we must continue her legacy. And it's like, no, I think you're completely missing the point. And I just want to add, you don't have to go to Planned Parenthood to get your, I don't even want to say birth control because we're anti-birth control, but you don't have to go to Planned Parenthood to get, like, the other services they may offer. There are
OBGYN services. You don't have to go.
You don't have to go
there. Resource center to get the same services minus the abortion.
Right. And there's also federally funded doctor's offices that will do the same things as well. So you don't have to go. We do not have to give any money to Planned Parenthood ever again.
Free clinic is?
Yeah, there's free clinics. Yes. And they're everywhere. And they can do the exact same things without the abortion. You do not have to go to Planned Parenthood, everybody. Just a reminder. So that brings us to our close. We have our last and final thing that we started last week, our conservative woman spotlight. And in such a great fashion way, we're going it I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm tired. It's brought to you by Culture of Life 1972. We were talking about pro-life stuff, and this spotlight is brought to you by Culture of Life. If you head over to COL1972.com and you use the code Those Other Girls 1972, you get 10% off your purchase. 100% of your purchase goes to pro-life causes. You can know by wearing their clothes, you are giving back to pro-life causes. So our conservative woman spotlight is going to the birthday girl, Candace Owens. Candace Owens, as you guys all know, is a New York Times bestseller. She's the founder of Blexit, a talk show host, political commentator, activist, wife and mother, and she has the new show, the Candace Owens Show on the Daily Wire, which I think is so awesome that they did that. I've seen clips on YouTube. I don't have a Daily Wire subscription currently, but I've seen clips on YouTube, and I do like the idea of the show. That is really cool. It comes on Friday nights. I know that. If someone wants to give me their login, that'd be nice. But I catch what I can on YouTube. But yeah, so happy birthday to Candace Owens. And she's our spotlight. Yep. Check her out. I think everybody already knows who she is, but yeah, we just thought we'd spotlight her because it's her birthday. And the new show, like I said, the new show looks really cool.
Yeah, I've seen some clips, and it's definitely really good, and definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, I like the idea, especially and I say this quote, and before we start recording, I said this to Victoria because it really is something that I hope that we can work on as Those Other Girls in so many other capacities. But conservatives are famous because they're conservative, not because of the things that they do. So I like what the Daily Wire is doing, what Ben Shapiro is doing with that, is giving people other outlets. Like, for example, that movie, I didn't see the movie either, but he's going to start doing more movies. And, Candace has that show, like a late night show. It reminds me of like all those like comedian got Jimmy Kimmel, Fallon, whoever those guys are, it has the same vibe as that. So it's not just, but she doesn't just talk about politics stuff. But the whole point is like, they're not the only ones that can do that. You know, your favorite podcaster that curses up a storm and talks about her sescapades isn't the only one that can have a fun, interesting conversation. Those are the girls Vic and Mal can too. So that's just a slight
Is
plug.
she
So
technically the first African American woman late night talk show host?
wow, I think she is, and no recognition. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. No recognition.
Well, it's interesting. I know for us in North Carolina, we had the state of our state address, and Mark Robinson, who we had his wife Yolanda on a couple months ago, he's the first African American to be elected statewide to the Council of State. He's our lieutenant governor, and Roy Cooper didn't even acknowledge it or acknowledge him at the state address.
Shame before God.
Yeah.
And we could do I think we can even maybe talk about a little bit of that because we'll talk about Tim Scott's thing. We can talk about that on Tuesday too, just about how like, not to victim, but like, that's shady and that's not right.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to start doing stuff like that. Yeah. We're going to recognize these
If you guys want to check this out before we talk about it, the Federalist has an article about the 10 racist tweets that people tweeted after Tim Scott gave the rebuttal to the State of the Union address. And it's honestly, for the people who are claiming Black Lives Matter, is awful what they said.
Yeah.
So
it was Tim
it's awful.
Scott. Wait.
Yes,
Uncle Tim was
what was trending.
Yeah, it was trending. That's awful. That's
which
terrible.
I think is ironic because I think Uncle Tom's Cabin was actually written by an abolitionist.
I think so. I have not actually read it, so I don't have a strong opinion on. I know some people are now saying that Uncle Tom was like the good person. I don't know about that. I haven't read it, so I don't have like a strong.
Because it was written by Harriet Beecher Stowe, who's an abolitionist.
Yeah. Maybe we can. Eventually, we said we wanted to do a book club. Maybe we can read that as
it's a thick read. I'm not gonna lie.
How many pages is it? You said it's a thick read?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, well.
Yeah, she's an American abolitionist and author, so I don't really understand why. Like, I could see their reference to Gone with the Wind, which is very. I don't know.
I haven't seen that either. I just know I know from Christian school, that was the first movie that had a curse word in it on television. Mm-hmm. In the movie
theater. It was also the first movie that a African American woman was nominated for like an Oscar. Is that the movie one?
Oh. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you have not already, please subscribe, rate and review. Leave us a nice review. Whoever left that last review, honestly, I've been looking at it like almost every day. It was super sweet, and that meant a lot.
Screensaver now?
Yeah, maybe it is. I thank you. Like, seriously, if you leave us a review, we legitimately read them, and we're like hearing that you guys are really enjoying this and like you're being affected by it really does make my day. Like it, and I know it does, Victoria. Like it makes all of everything we do worth it. So yeah, leave a review, please. Rate.
What is that concept that's like when you buy at a small business, someone actually does a happy dance?
Yeah.
If you rate our podcast, we actually do happy dance.
Yeah, no, for real. And also too, it just shows my brother that people actually do enjoy me talking. That's another thing too. But yeah, so rate, review, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, tell everybody you know. We really want to get this podcast out there. We want to continue to grow. So yeah, make sure if you go to COL 1972.com. Use our code, those other girls 1972, and continue to donate to Lily's GoFundMe for that billboard. I think it's going to be great to have up there and think about all the lives that you can say you helped change because you did something. This is a great tangible way to do something. All right, y'all. Everybody have a good rest of your day or evening or morning or whatever it is, whenever you're listening to this. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.